Lightning delay halts Clemson. Syracuse showdown as Tigers fight to salvage their season. Clemson, South Carolina Memorial Stadium, known to Tiger fans as Death Valley, was buzzing with urgency on Saturday afternoon when Clemson faced Syracuse in a critical week 4 ACC matchup. But just as the third quarter was about to begin, the electricity in the air turned literal. Lightning in the area forced a weather delay, pausing the contest with the Orange holding a 24-14 halftime lead. It was a jarring interruption for a game already charged with stakes. Clemson, sitting at 1-2 overall and 0-1 in ACC play, desperately needed a victory to calm a restless fan base and keep postseason hopes alive. Syracuse, at 2-1, looked poised to spring a road upset and establish itself as a contender in the conference under second-year coach Fran Brown. The delay, how it unfolded. The break came moments after the halftime show concluded. As both teams were returning to the sidelines for kickoff, officials received word that lightning had been detected within 15 miles of the stadium. According to NCAA policy, any strike within 8 miles requires play to stop, with a minimum 30-minute waiting period that resets with each additional flash or rumble. The public address system instructed fans to leave their seats and seek shelter in concourses or vehicles. Players and staff retreated to locker rooms, where they were forced to cool down, rehydrate, and wait for word on when the contest could resume. ESPN2, which was broadcasting the game, shifted to studio coverage while the delay stretched into the afternoon. Officials later announced that play would resume at 3:45 p.m. Eastern Time, barring further strikes. The storm itself brought only light rain and mild winds. AccuWeather noted gusts around 6 miles per hour, but it was the lightning risk that caused the stoppage. Safety, officials stressed, always comes first. First half recap. Syracuse controls early. Before the Skies took over the storyline, Syracuse had made the most noise on the field. Quarterback Steve Ongelli executed the Orange offense with precision, completing 16 of 25 passes for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns before the half. Syracuse piled up over 300 yards of total offense in just 2 quarters, exposing vulnerabilities in Clemson's secondary. Clemson's offense wasn't lifeless, but it lagged behind. Quarterback Cade Klubnik went 15 of 21 for 152 yards and 2 touchdowns, showing flashes of efficiency, but also struggling to generate sustained drives. Running back Adam Randall provided a spark on the ground, rushing for 85 yards on 8 carries, but the Tigers still entered the break down 10. The 24 points allowed by Clemson in one half underscored an ongoing concern, a defense that has talent, including multiple NFL-caliber linemen, but has struggled with consistency. Season context. Clemson's slippery start. This is not where the Tigers expected to be. A program once accustomed to national championship contention, Clemson is in the midst of its rockiest opening stretch in years. A season-opening loss to Georgia and a stumble against Georgia Tech left the Tigers at 1-2 for the first time in the Dabo Swinney era since 2014. Critics have begun to question the program's trajectory. Swinney himself has bristled at outside noise, insisting the team is still building toward improvement. But the reality is clear. Every game now carries heightened stakes, and the margin for error is razor-thin. A win over Syracuse would not erase the shaky start, but it would keep Clemson in the ACC hunt and restore some confidence. A loss, however, would push the Tigers to 1-3, a record that could sink postseason aspirations and amplify calls for change. Syracuse's moment to seize. For Syracuse, the contest represents an opportunity to solidify its place among the ACC's rising programs. The Orange closed last season with 10 wins and a number 20 AP ranking, their best finish in decades. Under coach Fran Brown, they have retooled their roster and embraced a tough, disciplined style of play. Beating Clemson, in Death Valley no less, would be a signature victory. Historically, the Orange are just 2-10 all-time against Clemson, and they have never won on the road in this series. That history is part of why Saturday's first-half performance felt so significant. If Syracuse can weather the weather and the Clemson rally, it could walk out of Memorial Stadium with a program-defining victory. The human factor, momentum, and mindset. Weather delays add a psychological twist to football games. For the team in front, the danger is losing rhythm. Syracuse had been rolling, dictating pace and tempo. The extended downtime could allow Clemson to regroup, adjust, and come out energized. For Clemson, the delay is both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, it gave Swinney and his staff more time to make halftime adjustments, particularly on defense. On the other hand, it disrupted the Tigers' chance to seize momentum right away. Players must also manage the physical challenge, cooling down muscles only to be asked to ramp back up after an unpredictable pause. Fans, too, are affected. The roar of Memorial Stadium quieted as tens of thousands streamed into concourses, their energy dampened by uncertainty. When play resumes, the crowd's ability to reignite its famous noise could be a factor. What to watch when play resumes? Defensive adjustments by Clemson. The Tigers cannot afford to let Syracuse's passing attack continue unchecked. Expect more pressure packages and tighter coverage schemes. Establishing the run, Clemson's best chance to steady its offense may come from leaning more on Randall and the ground game to chew clock and keep Ongeli off the field. Klubnik's poise. The junior quarterback is under scrutiny. A strong, mistake-free second half could calm critics. Turnovers would be devastating. Syracuse's composure. For the Orange, the challenge is sustaining intensity after a long break. If they come out flat, they risk giving Clemson an opening. Special teams and turnovers. In tight, disrupted games, momentum often swings on unexpected plays. A big return, a muffed punt, or a fumble recovery could define the outcome. Broader implications. For Clemson, a comeback win would restore confidence and keep ACC title hopes alive. A loss would mark a disastrous 1-3 start, the worst in over a decade, and raise louder questions about the program's direction. For Syracuse, victory would send a statement to the rest of the ACC that the Orange are not just a one-year wonder. Winning at Clemson, where so few visiting teams succeed, would elevate their national profile. For the ACC, the conference has been seeking balance and new contenders. A Syracuse win would symbolize shifting dynamics, while a Clemson rally would reaffirm the Tigers' place as perennial heavyweights. The bigger picture. This is more than just a football game. It's a snapshot of two programs at crossroads. Clemson fighting to prove it still belongs among the nation's elite. Syracuse trying to prove it deserves to join them. The weather delay only heightened the drama, leaving players, coaches, and fans to stew in anticipation of a second half that will carry outsized importance for both sides. When the storm passes and the ball is finally kicked off again, all eyes will be on whether Clemson can claw back or whether Syracuse can hold firm. In either case, the lightning strike has already ensured this game will be remembered, not just for what happens on the field, but for the storm that briefly silenced